Good day and welcome back. If you value clear, independent coverage that explains not just what happened, but why it matters, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. It helps us keep doing this work, and it helps you stay informed.
First, let me apologize to Miss McDonald, who I said was Miss McDougal. You're Irish, right?
My husband is, yes, sir.
Well, that's good enough. Thank you. You were Scotch for a few minutes, but I apologize, ma'am. And, Ms. Secretary, you have fired a number of general and flag officers, and you clearly have the authority to do that, but there was no cause given, and it's also deeply concerning it's taking a long time to appoint successors. I understand that today you announced that the nominee for CNO will be Admiral Darrell Caudle. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Well, we still have many of these positions open, including the U.S. Cyber Command, which is absolutely critical. Do you believe that these lack of nominated leaders are affecting our warfighting abilities?
Sir, I believe we all serve at the pleasure of the president. And in every single position, we're looking for the right man or woman to fill that role, to execute on behalf of the missions of this department. And we're doing it expeditiously in every case.
Again, do you have any anticipation of when we'll receive the nominee for Cyber Command?
Sir, as I mentioned before, we have a very capable deputy at Cyber Command who has taken the helm. So it's not as if it's without leadership, very much so. But we are, as recently as yesterday, had a high-level discussion of exactly what that will be.
Mr. Secretary, in your opening statement, you stated, at the Department of Defense, we are sweeping away distraction to focus on our core mission of warfighting. However, since your confirmation, your office has been consumed by high turnover and disarray. At least 3 senior aides were fired and subsequently investigated for leaks, alleged leaks to the press. Your first chief of staff has since left his position, and to the best of my knowledge, that position is vacant. The Inspector General is reviewing your use of Signal app to send sensitive information pertaining to military operations in Yemen, not only to senior government officials, but to your wife, your brother, and your personal lawyer. Finally, according to press reports, you have threatened polygraph tests against senior members of the military. As I said in my opening statement, this is a dangerous world. You know that. And this turmoil in your own office is not contributing, I think, to the clarity and thoughtfulness and decisiveness necessary.
Sir, I would just say the media loves sensational headlines that are not connected at all to reality. If you look at the execution of our office and what we've done on the president's priorities, I'm very proud of what we've been able to do in 140 days. And when you move fast to reestablish deterrence and restore a warrior ethos and rebuild the military, it's going to come with some changes. But when you look at the leadership structure, both in uniform and on the civilian side of the Defense Department, it's as strong and capable as it's ever been. And I would contrast it with the chaos of the world under the previous administration, the debacle in Afghanistan, war unleashed in Ukraine, what happened on October 7th. That was a view of weakness and chaos unleashed by the Biden administration under the previous defense secretary. So if a few changes have to be made in the first portion of my term in order to get it right, I think that's pretty acceptable to establish deterrence and rebuild our military and restore the warrior ethos.
Well, Mr. Secretary, you can cite those examples. History, I might have a different perspective. As I understand it, the direction to leave Afghanistan was an agreement with President Trump in Doha, which left our forces in a very precarious position since they were there for a year and they had to come out. And Taliban knew that, and they were going after them. But let me move on to another issue, which is
30 seconds.
35. We have had detainees in Guantanamo, and we have used military flights to get them there. The problem, I think, is that some of these military flights have not contained DHS agents on it. And so, in effect, the military becomes not just the custodial agents, they're also the control agents. And that would seem to me a violation of military procedures. Is that practice continuing?
Senator, every aspect of that mission is in coordination with DHS and with DHS officials.
So there are no flights with airmen only on board?
Not that I'm aware of, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Reid.
Today, a tense exchange at the Kash Patel hearing that pulled back the curtain on deeper questions about leadership, military readiness, and accountability at the highest levels of the Department of Defense. What unfolded was not just a routine back and forth, it was a revealing moment about how power is being exercised and how national security decisions are being defended in real time. If this kind of in-depth breakdown matters to you, be sure to subscribe so you do not miss what comes next. The exchange began on a seemingly light note, a brief apology over a mispronounced name and a joking reference to Irish and Scottish heritage, but that moment quickly gave way to something far more serious. The senator turned directly to the secretary and raised concerns that have been quietly building for months: the firing of multiple general and flag officers without publicly stated cause, and the slow pace of appointing permanent successors. This is not a minor procedural issue. In the U.S. military, senior leadership vacancies matter because they affect continuity, planning, and long-term strategy. When positions remain unfilled, especially during a period of global instability, the system relies heavily on acting officials who may lack the authority or political backing to make major decisions. Before we go further, if you want ongoing coverage that explains these power dynamics clearly, subscribe now and stay with us. The secretary's response leaned heavily on tradition and loyalty to presidential authority. He emphasized that all officials serve at the pleasure of the president and argued that the department is taking care to find the right person for every role. He also stressed that the current deputy at Cyber Command is capable and that leadership is still functioning. What was left unsaid is what many defense experts quietly acknowledge: acting leadership can keep the lights on, but it is rarely positioned to drive major reforms or confront entrenched problems. Cyber warfare moves fast. Decisions delayed by weeks or months can have real-world consequences. If you want coverage that connects these dots instead of glossing over them, remember to subscribe. The questioning then shifted sharply from vacancies to turmoil inside the secretary's own office. The senator laid out a detailed list of concerns: senior aides fired and investigated for alleged leaks, a chief of staff who has already departed, and a key leadership position now sitting vacant. On top of that, there is an inspector general review into the use of the Signal messaging app to share sensitive information about military operations in Yemen, reportedly including messages sent not only to senior officials, but also to family members and a personal lawyer. The secretary responded forcefully, dismissing the reports as media sensationalism and arguing that rapid change is necessary to restore deterrence in what he called a warrior ethos within the military. He pointed to global events under the previous administration, Afghanistan, Ukraine, and October 7th, framing them as evidence of weakness and chaos that he says his department is now correcting. This defense reveals a broader philosophy. The secretary is arguing that disruption is not a flaw but a feature, that short-term turbulence is acceptable if it leads to long-term strength. That argument resonates with some and alarms others. The key question is whether rapid turnover and internal conflict actually enhance readiness or quietly undermine it. If you want continued analysis that cuts through the rhetoric, subscribe and stay engaged. The senator was not persuaded. He pushed back, especially on Afghanistan, pointing out that the withdrawal timeline originated in the Doha Agreement under President Trump, leaving U.S. forces in a precarious position for an extended period. This moment mattered because it challenged a simplified narrative and reminded viewers that responsibility in national security is rarely clean or one-sided.
This hearing was not just about personalities or political talking points. It was about whether the systems designed to protect the country are being strengthened or strained by rapid change. It was about leadership, accountability, and the balance between decisiveness and discipline. If you want thoughtful, human-centered explanations of these critical moments, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you do not miss our next report. We will continue following this story closely, breaking down what it means, what comes next, and why it matters to every American. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe for clear, informed coverage you can trust.